My warning to everyone: never follow unknown links on the internet. It may turn out to be not only an adult site or a virus, but also something more strange. It happened somewhere in the middle of October. I was sitting on YouTube and bored, flipping through endless videos on scary topics. Then I became very interested in the topic of various deadly files and looked through any information related to them. What could be better to excite a bored guy at night? Only the well-forgotten old. At one time, there was a very popular story about the Pinocchio stickman, a monster captured on video called Station 922.mig. So that evening I was digging in the hope of finding the source file. Several photos can still be found on the internet. They are fascinating. After a few hours of trying, I found a link to the site in the description on one of the simple videos with a reconstruction of events. I was very interested in this, because at the time of viewing the video was posted about a week ago, there was a smell of fresh information. Following the link, I found myself on a page consisting of a white background and one phrase: 82 day, 13 knocks in your door. Look who I am. Literally immediately, the Knox1382.mig file was downloaded to my computer. After downloading, my media player opened, and the video immediately turned on. It depicted a stairwell, such a simple one. The view was from above. From one of the corners, there was an elevator nearby. There was no sound. The video went for 5 minutes, no more, but I was seized with fear from the first seconds. I tried to close the player, but it hung and wouldn't close. I started to panic from the strange behavior of the computer. But after a minute, I calmed down, thinking that it was someone's evil joke or a virus. At the last minute, the video changed. A man appeared on the stairwell, a middle-aged man who knocked on someone's door and stood in front of her. He was wearing something brown, like he was wearing a brown leather jacket and brown boots. Its appearance was poorly distinguishable due to the quality of the file, but it looked untidy. The video ended with him looking sharply into the camera and walking through the apartment door. This really scared me. I successfully closed the video and deleted the file, watched a couple of funny cuts to calm down, and went to bed. That same night, I woke up to a knock on my door. I opened my eyes, looked at the clock on my phone. It was the 3rd hour. It was as if I was shackled in bed. I was afraid to move and listen to the sounds. They knocked again, then it became very quiet. I stayed in bed without closing my eyes until sunrise. The next night, someone knocked on my door again. This time I got up carefully, turned on the flashlight on my phone, took the knife left next to me, and quietly went to the door. My door peephole was closed with a metal washer on a nail, so I did not dare to look into it. Never look through the peephole at night. In many stories, this may be a mistake. I turned off the flashlight, stood near the door, and began to listen. It was very quiet. I thought that my unknown guest had already left, but suddenly a knock on the door hit me right in the ear. I walked away from the door, dumbfounded, and very quietly heard something like, "I'm here, open up, you invited me." I almost had a stroke. My eyes sparkled, my head became heavy, and my legs weakened. I carefully slid down the wall, and, unable to stand it, burst into tears. But I didn't look through the peephole. I stayed asleep right next to the door, if it could be called a dream. Then I was expecting 2 more knocks in a week, then another one in 12 to 15 days. Every time I woke up in a cold sweat and couldn't fall asleep, I started having trouble sleeping. I started seeing dark silhouettes, and I only went into the entrance with my neighbors. I was very much afraid that after the 13th knock, I would hear footsteps in my corridor. I didn't know what to do with it. At the beginning of January, they knocked on my door for the last time. I suffered for 8 nights in total. The same man from the video asked me 13 times. I know that I felt it well, but I do not know what would have happened to me if I had looked through the peephole. I would have seen him through a small hole in the saving border between the night entrance and the apartment. Could I write it all here? It was a terrible experience, and I strongly hope that it is over. I have fulfilled the conditions. There are no death files. But there is something that can dramatically change your life if you search for it purposefully.